Alright, before we begin this new episode, which was the special episode I hinted at in episode 50, I believe, the one where I concentrate on Ava, well, long story short, at the time of that recording, I watched up to episode 26 of the original Evangelion series. However, I did not actually see the movie, so there were at least a few details I was missing out on. In this case, I guess you could say that I'm actually going to be doing just a tiny bit of post-commentary for this episode, which is probably like the third time I've had to do something like this. At this point, I've already gone ahead and I've watched the movie in full. I haven't seen any of the Rebuild movies yet, so those three movies I haven't actually seen. And at the time of this recording, or what am I trying to say? At the time of the initial recording, I only knew about the two of them, the first two. So think of this as me reacting to my own video and correcting myself where I feel I should. Hey everyone, REUPLOAD here, and welcome to a sort of special episode of Crush Crush.
Hey, what's the good word? Oh, I know. You.
So last episode I mentioned that I restarted the game mostly so I could get all the achievements, or at least as many of them as I could get, but I think, yeah, these are the only ones I'm missing so far. And of course these are going to take a long time to get. However though, as I was going through most of the girls, I thought to myself, well, considering when I initially went through Ava, and I'm kind of guilty of this, but I had never actually seen the original Evangelion series. Yeah, so that was kind of a shameful secret I had. However, thankfully, I was able to finally watch the Japanese dub for myself. So now I'm gonna see, well, for one thing, if I can finally understand some of the stuff that's going on with her. So it's not what am I trying to say? So in this episode, I'm not going to be really touching on Miss Desiree because, well, if you look, I still have 9 hours with her as of this recording. But, at least, just for fun, maybe I can see, like, if I can get any of the references. So I've pretty much seen this before. Advanced Neon Mobile Mecha Gungan. I wasn't done reading that. Let me help you out there, past me. Advanced Neon Mobile Mecha Gungan Jing... well, now that I'm actually looking at it, is it Neongenesis? That's probably the only way to pronounce it that makes sense to me. Advanced Neon Mobile Mecha Gungan Neongenesis Crushed. Well, anyway, although in this case it doesn't actually look like a regular Ava. In fact, if anything, it looks like what would happen if Metal Greymon fused with an Ava and, like, this is their child. And it still does kind of remind me of Metal Greymon, but at least in the end of Evangelion movie, this is kind of the, well, sort of how Units 01 and 02 looked in the final battle, when they were kind of going berserk. Specifically 02 with Asuka. Of course, see beautiful and sad looking pilot.
Help. Speak to me. Tell me I'm real.
I don't know if you're real. Okay, no.
Connection terminated. Restoring higher cognitive function. Synchronization uncoupling.
So synchronization, pretty much how Ava pilots synchronize with their Avas.
I am useless to command. There will be no rescue mission. I guess I'll try to cross the dark portal myself, though survival is unlikely.
No, don't do that. Even if there is possibly, like, hundreds and hundreds of clones of you. I don't know. So I guess if it wasn't obvious, at least I would think that Ava's based off of Rei Ayanami from the original series. Obviously, though, she doesn't have blue hair or red eyes. No, don't do that.
You want me to stay? Why? I guess I could perform some recon, if you'll assist me.
No problem.
Fortunately, you do not need to feel guilty for your actions. Mistakes happen. You probably have more important things to do.
Not exactly. Although I forgot, now that everything's going stupid fast. Actually, what would happen if I... Never mind, I can't turn off angst. What am I thinking?
Oh. Well then, you can remain, I guess. I have no authority to dismiss you.
Because you're not the commander.
My injuries appear to have mended. You do not need to continue hanging out with me out of pity.
Who said I was doing it out of pity?
I don't have... friends. I'm not sure what process is involved in validating such relationships. But are we friends?
I would like to think so.
That puts me at ease. Thank you for your kindness.
No problem.
My injuries appear to have mended. You do not need to continue hanging out with me out of pity.
Okay, now that that's done. Okay, well I guess now I can finally talk to her.
I am a Mega Pilot. I am trained to fight creatures called Seraph, which can only be defeated by an emotion-generated force called... feels.
Okay, so... if we're thinking about Rei, she would be an Ava pilot, fighting angels on behalf of Nerve, and I think this would be a reference to the AT fields that angels produce. I don't know. To be fair though, at least in the Evangelion universe, I think everything and everyone produces an AT field. Especially the Avas.
I am not good at fashion. The one time, I dressed in nothing but bandages at a gala, and it went over very well. I have no idea why.
When we first made Ava, when we first met Rei, she was covered in bandages. In fact, we see her in bandages for like half the series. I haven't actually seen the two movies, so I don't know if, like, at any point Rei goes out wearing nothing but bandages. But I'm probably guessing this is just something Sad Panda thought of on the fly.
I suppress my own emotions, because for some reason, it spikes the feels in observers. Their emotions become my power.
Interesting. Although I'm not too sure what to make of that. I guess in this case it would kind of mess with the synchronization rate. I don't know, I'm just making up my own sort of connections at this point.
I am not good. Where I'm from, the world is a lot more grim and confusing. Everyone speaks in shouts or whispers. This is a nice change of pace.
Unfortunately, I don't remember if I've gotten like any of these dialogues. I mean, yeah, I could go back and watch my own videos, but even then, I don't remember which ones had Ava in them. Well, at the very least, the future Rei comes from is very, very grim and dour. Like for one thing, Antarctica pretty much melted over due to the second impact.
Because their battles are broadcast worldwide, many of them wind up on soft-tube put to epic music. I kinda like it.
I don't think anything like YouTube exists in the original series. Although I have seen a lot of AMVs floating around with Evangelion footage in them, as well as a bunch of videos saying the Evangelion theme goes with anything.
I work for an organization called Synapse. My colleagues are less in control of their fields.
Okay, so Nerve. And I'm guessing in this case, she would be talking about Shinji and Asuka. Especially Asuka when she kind of... let's just say her mind kind of starts going down.
I am not good at... because I work for an... I work for an organization called Synapse. My colleagues are less in control of their fields.
Okay, I guess she doesn't say anything new now. Oops, well. Oh well, I guess I can go back and date her. And so in this case... okay, the Spear of Longinus. So... in End of Evangelion, we actually do see that it's plunged right into the moon. I guess you could say my initial thoughts were correct, that it was plunged into the moon. Although, at least I guess it was just a misjudgment on my part, but I couldn't tell if it was plunged straight into the moon or if it was just kind of floating around like in the original series. But no, in the movie it actually does end up in there. At least until it gets called back. So, kind of throwing out my original commentary a bit. What I was originally saying there was the Spear of Longinus, or Longinus. Yeah, we all know I have troubles talking sometimes. But anyways, or as some people call it, the Lance of Longinus, when Rei hurls it at an angel when it's screwing around with Asuka's mind, and how it ends up in the moon's orbit. But then in the movie, like I said, it's plunged right into the moon. So that was a nice little touch there on behalf of the artist. Yeah, I'm guessing... you know, at first I thought that it was actually like plunged into the moon, but now that I look at it, maybe it's just floating around next to it.
For some reason, when you're around, I feel the need to speak more. But speaking itself is more difficult. Does that make sense?
In a certain kind of way, yes.
I hope it is not the result of illness. I recover from such things very slowly.
I see.
You make me smile, which makes my cheeks sore. I don't smile very often.
And neither did Rei. Although when she did, she had a very cute smile.
I'll take you for a ride in Mecha Zero sometime. But you'll need to think pure thoughts about me. She's a bit protective.
Why is she your mother? Okay, no. Well, anyways. So I guess in this case, this would be a reference to Evangelion Unit 1, which Shinji actually pilots. And at least from what I understand, it's possible that his mother's very existence, when she disappeared, it ended up in Eva 01. Or actually, no. Mecha Zero would be Unit 0. Okay, well, never mind.
Someone mistook my connection suit for something meant for immodest roleplay. They tried to sell me a bull gag.
Yeah. And I can only imagine... well, I mean, I've seen a lot of cosplays of Asuka, so it's probably not too far-fetched to imagine some cosplayers, you know, take it to the next level. I mean, it is a very skin-tight body outfit.
My connection suit is this tight because it generates more feels this way. Does it generate feels in you?
Right after I said that she has a super tight bodysuit. And yes, it does generate some kind of feels in me. Yeah, in fact, I think that's what I said the last time, too.
I've never spent so much time doing things for fun. I live alone in a basement. I'm honestly a shut-in.
So Rei pretty much does live in a basement. And a very run-down apartment. If you know the series, at least the original series a bit, I guess you kind of know how she has two places. So I imagine that Rei would be kind of a shut-in. You know, by that logic.
I am not used to conversing with an intimate partner that's so intelligent. The only other person to ever flirt with me is very stupid.
Okay, well I don't know if this would be a reference to Shinji.
One downside to being a mecha pilot is that civilians tend to draw me in intimate contexts. This is a consequence of feels generation.
Going back to what I was saying about cosplay to the next level, I guess that'd be Rule 34 in a nutshell.
Do you find me physically desirable? I have no experience with such social interactions.
That's alright. I mean, if you are shut in, I can understand.
The only other person to ever flirt with me is very stupid.
Okay, so if I remember right, this was called a crab Jew, and obviously we have Mecha Zero fighting it. Well, I guess maybe I'll go back and get the dates after I'm done here.
I think about you often, even in unusual contexts, like showering or battling an evil crab Jew. Do you think of me?
Yes. In fact, as I've just proven, I'm thinking about you a little bit too much.
It brings me gladness. I do not think there is much to think about with me, but I'm flattered nonetheless.
Well, considering... Well, if we're going by Evangelion, considering Rei and Asuka are like the two main waifus or whatever, I guess besides Misato, yeah, I guess there are people who are obviously attracted to that kind of personality.
Perhaps we can find a quiet place to stare at each other for a little while.
You know, the Kuderi personality.
I met your friend Cassie. She reminds me of a colleague of mine. She would make an excellent pilot.
Yeah, and this was, I think, the only reference I understood when I first did the episodes.
Hey, what's the good word? Oh, I know. You.
So here we have Cassie, the typical tsundere, twin tails and all. Asuka doesn't actually have that. Personality-wise, yeah, I guess it's kind of there still. Hey Ava, is your colleague also attracted to older men?
It generates more feels. The more time we spend together, the more I want to hear you speak and feel your touch. Do you want to do these things more?
Absolutely.
I am relieved. I feared some dramatic tragedy would befall us if we admitted to such things.
Yeah, let me tell you, Evangelion has a bunch of traumatic tragedies. Some that I don't quite understand even now.
I find you delightfully distracting. It's actually quite dangerous in battle. But here, it's nice.
Well, you might want to be careful with that.
I like you a lot.
Well, this is going by a lot faster compared to when I initially did her.
This is the first time I've generated feels with my own emotions. It's overwhelming.
Well, hang on to that feeling, because it's more than a feeling.
It is said that the maximum amplitude a feels field can reach is called the field trip. I used to think it wasn't possible.
Okay, so I guess it is an AT field that she's talking about, kind of.
I used to think it wasn't possible. We are not encouraged to develop personal bonds at Synapse, but I desire your affection. Can I be classified as your girlfriend?
I would absolutely love that.
That makes me happy. I do not know if I'll be a good girlfriend, but I shall try my hardest.
Who knows, maybe you could be a good mother.
I dreamt of you last night. It was a dream I could not tell others about.
Yeah, we might want to keep that between us. Okay, so now I wonder, how can I actually finish her in one video?
This is the first time you have shown me so many beautiful things. I feel happy.
Oh, you're cute when you're happy, Ava.
When I look within myself now, for the first time, I find joy and love. You have nurtured it. Do you share it?
Yes, I do.
I am yours. Body, mind, spirit, and feels. Every time I see you, I feel as though my heart skips a beat. I sincerely hope I'm misinterpreting that sensation.
Yeah, I think you are. It's called love. And, well, I actually completed her in one video. Well, then I guess I have the multiplier and all the resetting to thank for that. Okay, oops. Actually, does she say anything about gifting?
I really like this. Thank you.
No, not notably.
I never thought a quiet walk could make my heart beat so fast.
Because isn't that romantic? Okay, well, she doesn't say anything about that.
A most entertaining movie. It could have used more mecha, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, then we'll go find this world's equivalent of the Evangelion movies. I don't know.
I am afraid I have failed at sightseeing, since my eyes were focused on you the whole time.
That's okay as long as you allow your eyes to take in whatever you find pleasurable, that's fine. And last but not least...
Well, that was much more dramatic than I anticipated. That Crabtree was no match for Mega Zero. Nice weather today, but since it never rains blood, it's basically nice weather every day.
I don't know if she's talking about whenever the Avas bleed, or just all the badness. To be fair though, there is a whole lot of blood in the end of Evangelion, when Asuka goes down like a fucking champ, taking down all those other Avas sent by Seal, until she's dismembered, and then I end up feeling sad. In general.
I've noticed that the frequencies of your visits have not diminished over time as I feared they would. Are we a permanent thing?
Indeed we are. Even when I reset, you and I are always going to be together.
That makes me happy. I'm glad that I asked.
You're welcome.
I'm glad my other colleagues are not here. One of them is snarky, and the other is blatant fan service. They rather annoy me.
Okay, well... The only one I can think of that's snarky would be Asuka. And... well... I personally don't see Shinji as being blatant fan service. So... you know, I'm not actually sure who she'd be referring to. Okay, I guess in regard to her saying that one of her colleagues is blatant fan service, the only other person I can think of is Misato. Because, well...
Lady, hear me tonight, 'cause my feeling is just so right.
yeah, I don't really know too much about Shinji's following, but now that I think about it, Misato has a lot of... and I guess a lot of fans, so to say. So I guess in this case, maybe that makes more sense. This case. Because I mean, considering it's mostly the three of them, and we do have two other pilots, but they got kind of written out rather quickly.
Before I left Dark World, they were experimenting with less modest connection suits. Kind of shocking, I know.
Dark World? Are you talking about the place where she comes from? You know, come to think of it, I've never actually spoken to her after I finished her.
I like it when you chat with me. It's my favorite thing.
Me too, in fact, I think I'm learning a lot more about you now.
You are the pilot of my heart.
Oh. And I don't know, she's kind of referencing how, at least like in the last two episodes, everyone's heart kind of needs a piece of another person's heart inside, kind of thing. So I don't know, well, I guess technically, she does have a part of my heart in her, and I have a part of her heart in me. Something like that.
Are you taking me somewhere quiet and uneventful today? That sounds so nice.
Right? Because we always have a bunch of crazy things to do in this crazy world. I don't know. You know, considering we have the black hole that's threatening all of existence.
I saw a fan-drawn picture of me where I was fully dressed and posed unprovocatively. I wonder if I'm inspiring less feels recently.
I don't know about that. So I guess this is the opposite of Rule 34. What would that be?
Before I left, don't be alarmed, but I think Mecha Zero is developing feelings for you. It's residual emotions from my connection with her.
Well, that's gonna be awkward.
Hello. It is good to see you today.
Yes, it is. Hello to you too.
Don't be the music theme around here is rather catchy.
Okay, I don't know if she's trying to hum the Crush Crush song or... No, that has to be the Evangelion song. Cruel Angel's Thesis. Yeah, that has to be it. At least that's what it sounds more like to me.
You make me feel invincible.
I'm invincible! You're a loony. No, you're no loony.
When you first tickled me, I thought you were attacking. Actually, I guess I'm still not so sure you aren't.
Oh, her laugh is so cute.
I've noticed that the frequencies of your visit... that... nice... I feel warm when I'm with you. I want you to feel the same way.
But I already do, Ava. Ava. At least, that's how I think her name is meant to be pronounced. You know, Evangelion, Ava, the Ava series.
You are the pilot. I like it when you hug me. No one's ever really done it before. A kaiju tickled Mecha Zero yesterday. She tore its face off. I'm glad I don't have the same compulsive reaction.
Yes, because unfortunately the Ava pilots do. Unless the command actually, like, ceases the feeling, I guess, to say they'll actually feel like the arm of the Ava getting torn off. So, yeah, at least you don't have that same problem.
It feels good to laugh, even when it's a reflex.
That's nice.
A kaiju tickled Mecha Zero yesterday. When he first tickled me. Before Are you Don't be alarmed, but I think Mecha Zero is developing feelings for you. It's residual emotions from my connection with her.
And I think that's actually about it with Ava. Well, I'm actually kind of surprised I finished her in one video. Okay, well, I guess that's it for this so-called bonus episode. Join me next time, when I'm hopefully gonna finish Miss Desiree. See you guys then. Later, folks. Okay, and I think that about does it for the episode, and this is gonna wrap up my post-commentary. And at least from what I understand, if you're playing the other version and you kind of strip Ava, she has a line that says something like, "All is right with the world." In the end of Evangelion, I don't know if it's kind of the same thing, but there's a line that is, "All is good." Either way, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see it here. And I don't exactly plan on LPing the other version. Especially since YouTube would probably not take too kind to that. Okay, now this time for real. Later, folks.